Rant with Alex and Alonzo coming up next.
Live from the Rant Radio Network,
You're listening to Real Estate Rant with your host, Alex Alanis.
and your co-host, Mr. Alonso Rodriguez.
No problems, just solutions for real estate needs, hot topics, and controversial chat. Testing here at the Rant Radio Network. Welcome to Real Estate Rant. I'm your host, Mr. Alex Alanis, and to my left here, my broker, Mr. Alonso Rodriguez. Good
Welcome
morning.
to the towers of Rant Radio Network.
Good morning,
Or
sir.
the Holy Grounds. Was that, Alex?
The Holy Grounds?
The Holy
I like that
Grounds.
too, you know. Joining us in studio today is Mr. Mike Davis. He also does a show with us here at the Rant Radio Network, Kids in Sports. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning, Mr. Mike.
Good morning. How you guys doing?
Good. How are things?
I'm awesome.
Usually at the beginning of each show, we do the design deal. Let's throw up the design deal. You have a chance to win a $25 gift card, compliments of Steven's Steakhouse and Carlos Cruz at the Bell Gardens Chamber of Commerce, and also a $200 teeth whitening from Gardens Dental at 7218 Garfield Avenue in the city of Bell Gardens. If you happen to pick this design or call in and have a good question for Coach Davis here in the studio today.
Where's that house located at, Alex? Is that the North Pole?
No, that's Michigan. I mean, it could be the North Pole, I guess, because it looks like an icy morning there. But that one's in Michigan. What kind of house is this? Give us a call, 855-693-4897, or you can email us at realestaterantradio@gmail.com. And typically, in the first segment, we cover emails from the previous week. What did we get this week?
Q&A.
Let's do Q&A.
We got a question today coming out of Jose out of Palmdale, and it reads, I agreed to buy a home, and now I've changed my mind. How do I cancel?
Okay, is he the...
He's a buyer,
Oh, okay,
actually.
he's a buyer,
He's a buyer
so-
trying to get out of a contract.
He's a
So,
buyer trying to get. Okay, well, that all depends. I mean, are you in a contingency period?
That's exactly what the first thing you got to do is look at the contingency clause in there.
Yeah,
And
I have canceled deals on properties as long as we're in our contingency period. I've canceled them without any reason. There doesn't have to be a reason as long as you're in inspection period. Now, I would have to ask, why do you want to cancel? Right, Mike? I mean, what could be the possibilities? Well, he doesn't like the house, or maybe there's something about it that he didn't expect. Maybe there's some repairs on the property that he didn't expect. Those are all viable reasons to cancel.
But once the contingencies are gone, that there is some legal consequences that can be affected to that of him canceling. You got to remember, Alex, that a lot of other people are also relying on him to close his deal. Maybe the seller is into another contract where where him not fulfilling his contract is gonna it's gonna affect a lot of other people than just the seller.
Well, I think what you're commenting about is liquidated damages. What are the damages to the seller now if he cancels that contract? And typically, that's what we call the earnest money deposit is put in to escrow, unbiased third party holding that monies, so that the seller now can potentially reap those. Well, I was going to say benefits, but they're not benefits. They're reap those damages, if you will, from the seller or from the buyer. Now, the buyer does have to agree to that. They have to sign a paper saying, yeah, I'm going to release that earnest money deposit. So typically that's after the contingency. They have to remove the contingencies. The question is a little vague because there are a lot of what ifs involved in that question. So hopefully we answered that question.
Well,
go ahead, Mike.
I just say, I took over the years. I took some of those, get rich quick seminars with real estate, and I heard you guys talking about the no money down deals. I've got one of those courses. And one of the thing a lot of them did is because usually they want to for sale by buyer by owners, but they will go through an agent times, but they usually say go through the owner, but one of the things they tell the guy when they're going to make the offers is put a lot of put all, if you can't hop up and down on 3 times on one leg, I can get out of this. If you want to put all these contingents in there so you have an easy way out if you change your mind or if things aren't going the way you want.
Well, there's a group of individuals that I've come across over the years that say, well, you don't need a real estate agent. You can do your own real estate. All you have to do is open escrow. The escrow will do the contracts for you. I've heard all that stuff. And yes, that is possible, but what you're talking about, Mike, is having the protection of an agent now and the contracts that are designed. And if you look at the contracts, there's hundreds of them.
And they're all, mind you, that they're all designed to protect the agent if you actually sit down and read the contract.
And the consumer.
Exactly.
Well, actually, when you talk about the consumer, that's the buyer and seller. So they're designed to protect everyone, and it's a way of negotiating peacefully, because there's a saying that in business, what is real business, right? It's a way of saying nice doggy before you can find a stick. That's the art of doing the art of doing business, you know.
Regarding the question, I believe it's something that shouldn't be taken lightly, and you should consult an attorney, your attorney, on legal matters and any consequences that could affect the purchase of you canceling or the backing off of the contract.
Well said, Mr. Broker. Thank you for covering that. Yeah, exactly. Thank you for covering that. But see, this is where I say that the question is vague, because at some point, you know, we don't know, does this person have an agent? You know, do they have these contracts? Because if you're doing a for sale by owner, those contingencies might not even exist. And now, how does that person get out of that contract? So these are certain questions. You know,
well, that's a unique thing about real estate, that not every transaction is the same, and you gotta actually dissect the transaction, exactly. Piece by piece before you can make a decision.
Thank you. Give us a call, 855-693-4897. You can ask a question, or maybe if you can fulfill the answer to that question, you can also email us at realestaterantradio@gmail.com.
Also, if you have an experience that might relate to any of the topics we talk about, make sure you call us and give us your input, and we would like to hear from you.
Yeah, and potentially have a chance to win a gift card. I know that there's been some in-studio people that have won, because they were able to.
Is that right, Mike? Is that right, Mike? Is that right, Mike?
I don't know what you guys talking about. I was on the phone.
Yeah, I did have a quick little rant about a Facebook post that was put up. You know, I do a little bit of advertising on Facebook for the show, for Real Estate Rant, and also for the Rant Radio Network. And you know, sometimes I get a little cocky on there, and it's for shock value. You know, I'm trying to get people to call in and be pissed off about stuff, you know. And so anyway, make a long story short, there was a Top Agent magazine post on Facebook, and I put on there, I commented on it, and I said, you know, yeah, if you want to listen to all the BS that goes on with the top agents, you know, give us a call, 855-693-4897, and potentially tell us your opinions about this stuff. You know, I have an opinion about top agents. You know what I mean? So one of my old brokers, and I won't say who it was, commented on there, and she said, I don't know any dishonest agents. So I said, okay, well, hey, why don't you come on the show? I'd love to have you, and let's talk about all the honest agents that you know, right? And no response, obviously. Well,
there's always one somewhere.
I've gotten some other responses from other agents in her office, okay? And they're calling me a hater. I'm a hater. Yeah, I'm a hater because I happen to have an opinion about the fact that these agents, the reason why they're glorified is not because of the service that they do for the client or the consumer. Because again, this show is about ensuring the public trust. It's more about their income and how much they're making and how successful they are. That to me is just BS. That's why I call it that.
Do you think some of them go hand in hand? I mean, obviously, I agree that in any industry there's some dishonest people. We've seen it in, you know, real estate, soda pop. I don't care where you're at, coaching. But some of those agents, let's be fair, some of those agents are making the extra money because people are going to them because they've done a good job for somebody else. Because your business is about referrals.
That could be, but in my experiences, that's not the case.
Not really.
Yeah. Now, granted, have I come across good agents that are notariable? They're visibly, they're icons in the industry. Absolutely, I've come across those, and they're a pleasure to work with. But there are another sect of the agent society that you know, and I'd like to hear from those people. But you know, they don't want to. They don't want to call. They want to combat. You know why? Because I could call them out on the stuff that they're doing, and I'll give you an example. Okay, a friend of mine calls me up and he says, Alex, you know, there's a house right across the street from my house that was listed for $650,000, and it's a little 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house here in Whittier. Okay, $650,000, and he couldn't understand why, because it was a fixer. Okay, so he goes, man, nobody's gonna pay $650,000 for this place. It's probably worth maybe $400,000, maybe $450,000, possibly. So it's overpriced about $200,000. Wow.
And there's a particular reason for it to be priced that way. Correct me if I'm wrong.
And
Alex.
I'm getting to that. Because I know you know what's going on.
The picture.
Yeah, I know you know what's going on. But follow me here for a second. So $650,000. So now, the same agents that listed the property bought it for $300,000. Was that what you were thinking?
Yes, exactly.
They-
That's
they
exactly. It was overpriced so that nobody would go look at it.
Exactly.
And then they could make the offer themselves.
Now-
and they
now-
call themselves honest agents,
But
huh?
Exactly. And here's the thing.
The
And
buyer
here-
wouldn't see that. The buyer,
Well, that's the thing.
The
that-
buyer was probably some old lady that didn't know any better. Okay, and I'm sorry, the seller was some old lady probably that didn't know what was going on, and these people just totally schmoozed her, and so now they have it listed for $499 now fixed up.
see, she probably bought it for 20,000
that-
back in the 60s.
That
or something.
that is a violation of their contract.
And that's one of the problems going on right now, Alex. If I may add, that's what a lot of agents are listing properties, and they're not really giving a fair chance to other agents to buy that listing. Pretty much, they have already a buyer, or they want to double end it, and it's just screwing the whole industry up because that is happening. And honest or not, agents, but it's going on, and it's something that's has to be spoken about, and it doesn't give the consumer a fair shot of getting fair market value for their home. So that's one of the biggest things in our industry that is going on.
Well said. I mean, I couldn't have said it better myself, Alonso. I'll be honest with you. I am beside myself when I put offers out on properties. I would say 1 in 4 of the agents that I'm submitting to don't even respond to my offer. The other 3, usually they're at least acknowledge that they received the offer.
I thought they had to respond by law.
Okay, well, it's a law, but how are you gonna enforce it? How do you enforce it?
How do you prove that, Mike?
Yeah,
It's something
that's
that,
another thing.
If I make you an offer, I've handed you the paper, I've mailed it to you, certified mail, whatever. What do you mean? How do I prove it? I made you an offer to respond to that offer. Tell me you don't want it. Tell me you don't like it, but you got to respond somehow.
You know what? Some of the responses I get sometimes, I never got your email. I never got your offer, but it's already under contract now with somebody else. How do I prove that they got the email?
You can track email.
I mean, Mike,
Yeah,
you
you
know
can
what?
track it.
We could be here all day talking about this. It's a slippery slope. But what I'm talking about is that this is going on, and I want to address it. I want the agents out there to be upset about what's going on. I want the boards to be involved. I want the BRE to be involved. And what can we do? Joining us in studio today, Mr. Mike Davis. We'll be covering chimney sweep on the next segment. Don't touch that mouse.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back with some more Real Estate Rant.
Building a custom home or business is a huge deal. For some, it's the largest project they'll take on in a lifetime. Choosing your team may be the most important part of ensuring a successful building project. Starting a project by working closely with Core Design will create what's just right for your lifestyle and your property. But selecting the right builder is perhaps the most important part of creating the team. At Core Design's customer service, quality craftsmanship, and integrity are the keys to our company philosophy. Your custom construction dreams are just a phone call away. Core Design at 213-453-1609. Once again, that number is 213-453-1609.
The experts know that for pastry, Baker's Bodega has it all. Exclusive brands like Westco Bankmark, Satin Ice, and Pastry Pride. One-on-one day seminars for cake decorating and gelatin art. So for our service, wide range of ingredients and supplies, and for the low prices, Baker's Bodega has it all. But you don't need to be an expert. Baker's Bodega, 7869 Paramount Boulevard in Pico Rivera. Come, we're waiting for you.
Do we have your attention? When it comes to tequila, 2 things matter: heart and passion. Never compromising integrity for mass production. Number 1 Tequila delivers the goods. Taste the heart and passion of Mexico in every bottle. We make it right. We make it fun. Superior Tequila. There's only number 1. There's only number 1. There's only number 1.
Been in an accident? Then you need your vehicle professionally repaired. That's exactly what you get when you bring your vehicle to Greg's Auto Body Repair. 3 quotes within minutes. We will provide everything you need for a hassle-free auto body repair, from an accurate estimate to working with your insurance company. We will get your vehicle to its pre-accident condition as soon as possible. Greg's Auto Body has been serving Los Angeles County and local cities since 1970. Call us at 562-789-1300.
A home is the biggest investment in most people's lives. Buying or selling should be a positive experience.
Whether you want to be a wealthy real estate investor or just trying to find a place to call home, at AJR & Associates, we focus on the client's needs.
We understand the market better than most. Let us bring the value to you and make the right choice.
AJR & Associates, making your dream house a reality. Call us today for a free consultation at 562-882-1976. Or you can log on to www.agrrealtors.com.
With a track record of great results, bringing knowledge, wisdom, and expertise to you. Hablamos español. Live from the Rant Radio Network,
You're listening to Real Estate Rant with your host, Alex Alanis.
and your co-host, Mr. Alonso Rodriguez.
No problems, just solutions for real estate needs, hot topics, and controversial chat. Welcome back to Real Estate Rant. I'm your host, Mr. Alex Alanis, and to my left, Mr. Alonso Rodriguez. Let's bring up the design deal again, Mr. Manny Pantalones. Give us a call, 855-693-4897. You can win a $25 gift card to Steven's Steakhouse. Very delicious steaks and pastrami, I might say.
It's been a while since I had one of those, Alex.
Maybe today we'll go.
I didn't get one.
Oh, there we go.
Never.
And also, you can win a $200 teeth whitening treatment to Garden Dental at 7218 Garfield Avenue in the City of Bell Gardens. Compliments of Carlos Cruz and the Bell Gardens Chamber of Commerce. And that does work, although it is quite painful at times. It's about a day of aching, you know, the teeth whitening.
I'm too old to worry about that. Teeth whitening, you know.
You're not starting a moving career
I'm not
anytime
starting
soon,
a
are you,
movie
Mike?
career, yeah.
Joining us in studio today, Mr. Mike Davis. The design deal, actually, I picked different areas of the world because it's amazing how some of these designs we see on an everyday basis. Like one of them we had was the bungalow, and you see a lot of those like in Alhambra, even South Central Los Angeles. But I had some that were in Switzerland and some other. So I was a little intrigued by some of these designs that come up, and I thought it was interesting. This particular one, because it's an easy one, but nobody seems to know what it is. What is it? No. And so, see, here's the thing. I have the answer right here. Okay, so don't cheat. Okay, but that's not what it is.
Okay.
What did you say?
I said a log cabin.
It's not a log cabin.
It's not a log cabin.
Okay, now
Looks
now
like
that's-
a log
that's
cabin.
not
it can be
Santa's log
confused.
cabin?
It can be confused for that. Okay.
Okay.
Now, speaking of log cabins, what do we usually see in a log cabin?
I bet you got a fireplace in there.
You have a fireplace, and joining us in studio today, Mr. Mike Davis actually has done chimney sweep.
Mr. Dick Van Dyke, is it?
Dick
Is that,
Van
was,
Dyke.
wasn't it Bert from the Mary Poppins movie?
See,
Wasn't
that's
that
see
what
what
he
I
did?
tell you. See what I tell
Okay,
you.
that seems to be the going
That's
thing.
the chimney sweep movie.
Okay, but what was it was the other one, Fiddler on the Roof, and we were talking about
I've never seen that. Believe it or not.
how can you have your pudding if you don't eat your meat?
Right.
That was a saying that was in the movie.
I never saw the.
And when I said it to you yesterday, you looked surprised, and I was like, wow, that's like a
You're a chimney cleaner. You should know about that, right?
Yeah, no, I
That
know
was
about
the-
Mary
that-
Poppins. That was the chim chimney, chim chiree.
Yeah, exactly. So, Coach, how did you get involved in chimney sweeping? I mean, that's kind of a very specialized area.
It is, and especially Southern California. You'd be surprised. No, what it was is I've always, for a long time, I was sort of like, I just wanted to make money. You know, what can I do to make money? I like to have my own business. I was working for a large meat packing plant that people know in Southern California at the time, and I was renting a private mailbox at another business I bought later, but the gentleman that owned the mailbox had also been a chimney sweep. The mailbox was originally for his dad, I guess, and his dad had passed on, so he had to take care of that. And so he said, do you want to buy the chimney service from him? And it's okay. And so he sort of showed me what to do. And
Is he cleaning
started
mailboxes too, or is
yeah,
that-
do it.
And there's something I read that kind of intrigued me. It said cleaning a chimney is important to prevent chimney fires. I'm like,
That's right.
Isn't that what goes on in a chimney? Isn't
Well,
a fire
yeah.
what goes on in a chimney?
Until yesterday,
Yeah.
I had never even heard of a chimney fire.
That's-
I mean, other than what the log that you're putting in the
Yeah,
we're
I was
talking-
like, isn't
In
that
the
what
fireplace,
it's supposed?
right?
Isn't that the purpose of a chimney to
we're
create a fire?
It's the problem. I pulled a website, a couple information, because like I said, I haven't done this for a little while now. So I did a little homework, and this one thing, this cap you see up there is something you're supposed to have. We'll get to that later. But the site here had it very well worded. Okay,
Mike, Mike, pardon me for cutting you off, but
What?
if you put one of those things on the chimney, how's Santa supposed to come down?
Oh, that you got to work that out with him. You got to work that out with him.
How's he gonna deliver
Hey,
my gift?
He's magical, dude. Come
Oh,
on.
yeah,
okay.
he go
Gonna
through
sprinkle some magic dust and
Don't
climb through the little.
don't burst my bubble now. My God.
Yeah, here's the man. This website had it worded very nicely for about chimney sweeping. It says keeping your chimney clear of combustion deposits will assure your chimney operates efficiently while limiting your exposure to a chimney fire, which is an uncontrolled 2,000-degree fire inside your chimney.
My goodness.
Okay.
So you're talking about, is it like
It's
flames
up in
coming
the flue.
out?
Oh yeah. I had a customer once, or I should say client, really. Either way, that literally told me one night that she went to her kitchen, to get a cup of coffee or whatever, drink or whatever, and she noticed it was real bright. It was dark outside already, and it was this real bright glow, like something's on fire. And all of a sudden, she realized it was her house. It was on fire, and
And was that caused by her chimney,
it
Mike?
was caused by a chimney fire. Well, she had a chimney fire. She hadn't had her chimney cleaned in ever, I don't think, 15, 20 years. And there's a reason that's why that happened. We talk about in Southern California. But what happens, basically, when you burn wood, all the wood doesn't burn, really. There's these deposits that go up in the smoke called creosote. It sticks to the inside of your flue tiles.
Now that's the word of the day.
Creosote.
Creosote. It's
And
Creosote. Creosote.
C-R-E-O.
Creosote.
I'm sorry. Creosote.
Yep. Right.
Creosote. I've never heard of that before. Have you?
I had actually wrote it down, but I didn't want to bring it up because I didn't know how to pronounce it.
Give it a try.
I was gonna say creosote, and I was gonna
creosote.
and for sure I was gonna have Jacqueline correct me on that. But
Or is that like chipotle?
chipotle?
Neither of you guys have a fireplace?
Yes, we
Right,
do.
okay.
I do, Mike.
What you want to do is go on the back wall. You got a brick fireplace, not a
Yes, it's
not a
brick.
prefab. Okay, go on the back wall right there under the damper. Okay, and you might see a little fuzz. Do you use your fireplace fairly regular in the winter?
Rarely.
Rarely.
And now it's now with those electronic logs
Yeah,
where
there
you
okay.
put in and you
Okay.
don't have to
Those
worry
gas
about
logs?
it.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're gas
no, there's
logs.
a difference. There's electronic, there's gas logs. There's two different
Well,
things.
this one is gas log. It's a
Okay.
gas log where you just turn it up and it
you
creates a
still
fire.
you still should have probably have your chimney. They should have had it clean before you put that in. But anyway, if you'd been burning wood, if you go to the back wall of your firebox there, where the fire it should be, right, and everything, up towards the top of that, you might see a clay. It'll be black, from the soot, but you also might see a little collection of like fuzz.
And
if you sort of draw a path where, like the forest fires, how they clear the brush away, if you sort of draw a path around that, take a match to that, it'll actually start glowing. And that's basically a slight buildup of the creosote.
So that's the
So I would show a
creosote, huh?
customer, here's what could happen. And some of them would have a real good. I had customers that had not cleaned their chimney ever. We're talking 20 years, 25 years. And what would happen in Southern California, which makes us a little bit unique. I had one customer, for example, in Downey. The guy was a doctor, and he would have me out every year. Okay, he would I'd do an off-season special. He'd have me out every year. He was from Chicago, and he said wherever he was at, he says it was law. I don't know what the law is now. Didn't have time to look that up. But he said it was law that you had to have your chimney cleaned every 6 months because he's using it for heat.
He said that's a lot in Chicago?
He said that was the law. Now, I don't know, whether it's a code and how extensive it was. But this guy actually used his fireplace for heat. Log in the morning, log at night. He was about 80 years old, I think. And so, yes, he was getting extensive usage.
Probably
I
a
could
smoker.
I could see that happening in Chicago where it's cold, but in Southern California,
Well, that's
you rarely turn on a chimney. Pardon me, but when it's almost 80 degrees every
That's right.
day, we're not going to turn on a chimney. You got to
Especially
be
not
crazy.
right now. It's
yeah.
hot in the studio right now. We don't have a chimney in here.
That's this is part of the problem. So, and I would have people that said, who do I, they would be getting smoke in their house all of a sudden. And because they'd gone 20 years burning every winter, but never did anything about it. They didn't know anything about it. They weren't from Chicago or back east or anything. So they'd ask a friend, call a chimney sweep. So they're out there. And so, yeah, I'd go out there. I had one customer that their flue was basically plugged off because they had a creosote buildup this thicker all the way around the inside of the flue.
But Mike, can you explain a little bit of what's involved with cleaning a chimney? What tools do you need? Any specific tools, or what are you doing to the chimney?
Well, it's basically sweeping it out, just like it implies. the tools I had, which most chimney sweeps have, would be wire brushes, usually aluminum or some sort of stainless steel or some sort of steel wire. There are some plastic ones, and you have a set of poles so you can reach it all the way down. I'd go up. I've had a 3-story chimney. You had to have about 6-8 poles hooked together.
Well, that's what they're showing up there
I
on the
was
screen.
reading something
Just
about
like that.
I was reading something about that where they call it rods or rope pull rings. What are those?
There's all sorts of ways. I tell you, one of the I guess you'd call it the poor farmer's way to clean your chimney is you get a burlap sack. There's 2 ways. You get a burlap sack, put some rocks in it, tie it to a rope, drop it down your chimney, pull it up. You know what? That'll solve the problem.
It's going to be
as
black
far as
when you bring it back
it'll
up.
back up. But the other way.
Yeah, but I'm
I'm
kind of picturing something though, Coach. I'm picturing you're running that wired thing down there. You're doing a burlap sack with rocks, whatever the case is.
Right.
Isn't all this stuff just coming out into the house?
No,
I mean,
no. It can.
don't you picture that?
It can.
Where does it go? Does it go up in the air?
Well,
or?
no. And you know what? One of the images I didn't find this morning, I was going to, Arvin, if you can find an image of a diagram of a chimney, what it is picture this. Your chimney comes down straight here, and then there's the damper, there's like a little turn. Your fireplace is sitting down here. So it's not usually straight
Doesn't
down.
go
Now, I have
straight
found
down.
some that weren't
So
built real well that almost were.
You're talking about just the engineering of the dimensions of a
The
fireplace.
junk is going to stay up above the damper, most of it. Some can come down here. If your chimney is working properly,
There you
and
go.
the flue, see, there you go. If the chimney's working properly, there's a natural draw going up the chimney. So if I'm up on the roof cleaning, I get half of that junk back up in my face as I'm brushing it.
So it's coming outside. It's not
coming-
going.
yeah.
Okay.
So the
'Cause you would
customers
automatically think that it's dropping.
And there's another way of doing it where you don't have to go up on the roof, or you could do it from the
I
inside.
can do it the same way you have the flexible poles. You take the brush, I'd get down in the bottom. And again, I'm going to cover the carpet because that's the big thing the customer would be worried about is you're going to get
furnishing.
this junk in my furniture, my carpet. And so you get down to it, but you force the brush up through the damper, and you do the same thing there. You're pushing it out. And that was good, especially if they had a tile roof, because I hated tile roofs, especially back late 80s, early 90s. They came out with this one-piece S. The tiles before were like a half tube, and they would overlap. Well, they came out this one-piece S, and that was more fragile.
And
you
it's
couldn't walk in it.
exactly. And there's a very special way of walking on
That's right.
tile on roof tile
That's right.
without it breaking. I mean, you gotta step on certain places where
Right.
it won't damage the roofing, and that's something that's very dangerous and slippery.
Very slippery.
Because I've in the past had some homes built where we put Spanish tile, and that was one of our features on our homes. And we broke a lot of the tiles and a lot of the personnel that we would hire that didn't really. We're coming on a break. We'll continue this talk at a later time.
It's tough.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back with some more real estate rant.
Nurses Life Express provides unique apparel for all the hardworking nurses that wear many hats. It's apparel that expresses nurses' amazing, humorous, and caring personalities. After all, nurses are as influential as their united goal to help others. Nursing's not easy, but somebody's got to do it. For more information, please call 562-270-4312 or visit their website at www.nurselife.com. www.nurselyfe.com. Nurseslife.com, where nurses' lives are expressed.
3 balls, 2 strikes, the pitch. Swing and a launch.
Make your team look like pros with custom lineup cards. Whether you are a travel team, rec team, all-star team, or just some old guys playing slow pitch, we can make your team look a little better with some custom lineup cards. For the umpire, for the opponent, for the scorekeeper, for the dugout, no matter where your lineup card goes, you will look like a big league team with your team logo and name on top of your personalized lineup card. Just visit CustomLineupCards.com. With the best prices in town, you are sure to hit a home run with us. Visit CustomLineupCards.com and go pro.
Are
you watching the game at home? Why? Come watch it at Mambo Grill, the hottest spot in Downey. You'll have good food, drinks, and a great time at a low price. We have the coldest beer in our sports bar, where you can enjoy the game on any of our huge flat screen TVs. And when your home team wins, you get 25% off anything in Mambo Grill. We're on Downey Avenue, 1 block north of Firestone, or visit us on the web. Mambo Grill, love at first bite.
Been in an accident? Then you need your vehicle professionally repaired. That's exactly what you get when you bring your vehicle to Greg's Auto Body Repair. 3 quotes within minutes. We will provide everything you need for a hassle-free auto body repair, from an accurate estimate to working with your insurance company. We will get your vehicle to its pre-accident condition as soon as possible. Greg's Auto Body has been serving Los Angeles County and local cities since 1970. Call us at 562-789-1300.
Hey, bro, this is a good game. You know what would make it better?
What, bro?
A michelada.
A michelada? What's a michelada?
A michelada is somewhere in the middle of a Mexican Bloody Mary and a Mexican margarita.
Oh, I got you covered, bro.
You got a cup in your pocket?
No, sir. I got my pocket-sized michelada. Mucho macho michelada.
Pocket size?
Pocket size, so you can take it with you anywhere you go.
Where'd you get that at?
At the nearest convenience store, and you can also buy it at muchomachomichelada.com.
You know what will make it better? After we get drunk, if they had a line we could call.
We can call their drunk line. You can leave a message and then log on to the site and listen to your stupidity afterwards.
What's that number?
It's 855-MICHE-69.
What's that number again?
855-MICHE-69.
Awesome. Mucho macho michelada.
Live from the Rant Radio Network,
You're listening to Real Estate Rant with your host, Alex Alanis.
and your co-host, Mr. Alonso Rodriguez.
No problems, just solutions for real estate needs, hot topics, and controversial chat.
No longer my business.
Welcome back to Real Estate Rant Radio. I'm your host, Mr. Alex Alanis. In studio today, Mr. Mike Davis, and to my left, my broker, Mr. Alonso Rodriguez.
May I add your very handsome broker?
Dude. We started with Savior last week with Art, and then Alonso was the disciple, and then Art was the prophet.
So now I'm the handsome one, and you're the ugly one.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm the ugly duckling. I can wear that. That's all right. You know,
can wear the hat.
I'm a little chonchito. You know, what can I say? Give us a call, 855-693-4897. If you happen to choose the design deal, you can win a $25 gift card to Steven's Steakhouse or a $200 teeth whitening to Garden Dental. You can also, if you call in, I'll give you a gift card if you talk to Mike and you give him a good question. 855-693-4897. We were talking about creosote and chimney fires, and I'll be honest, I've never heard of this before. Is this something more common back east or possibly?
Yeah. Obviously, the more you use it because it's a buildup. But like I said, in a way, I would almost say it's more dangerous here in Southern California because people don't think about it because, like you said, it's warm. We got the nice weather. So you might use your chimney. Matter of fact, I closed my business. I had my hands in a couple other things. And I closed it about 94, I think it was, 95, I forget, somewhere in there. And I think I picked the right year to do it because after that, it seemed like there was about 10 years where there wasn't a cold day in the winter. And that's the time for Southern California. See, like I said, this guy from Chicago says every year, I know I got to get my chimney clean. Southern California people would call us, most of them would call us when they get smoke in their house. When do they get smoke in their house? When their chimney's plugged up. Okay?
It's good. It's backing up.
It's backing up because what it is, there's a ratio. And if you had the diagram back up there, if I remember this correctly, the opening of the chimney flue going up, the area going up, has to be at least 10% of the fireplace opening, okay? And I used to actually have a device to sell to make your fireplace open a little bit smaller because I can't tell you how many poorly designed fireplaces, because they'd have somebody come in, they got brick or they did it themselves, and it's beautiful, but, the thing's square. If you see a fireplace that's square, I can almost guarantee you it's going to smoke in the house.
So there's
done right?
There's some science to all this.
There's some science to it. The vertical opening of a fireplace should not be more than 2/3 of the width of the fireplace.
And kind of what I'm seeing there, it's almost like a carburetor. It's called a venti.
Right.
And it sucks the air out.
Sucks the air out.
Yeah. So that's where that's why the smoke goes out of your house versus you have a
coming
fire
in.
there right in front of you. It's not coming into the house.
That's right. And
Got
I could show you if your chimney is working. I had this very light, thin black cloth that I would tape up the fireplace and for the customer's comfort more than my own. Because I started off with a smaller vacuum, but later there was a brand called August West. I had this vacuum with this huge, like 5 or 6 inch hose, I forget what it was, and the motor, so that thing I could flop that hose in there. I could dump all the dirt down all day long. I would never get in the house. This thing would just suck it right up. But you don't know that. You don't know that. You're sitting there, it's going to get on my carpet. So I would tape up a cloth, and this cloth, because it's very thin, if your chimney was drying correctly, the cloth would start trying to suck up your chimney. It would try to go up the chimney.
Well, this is kind of what Alonso was talking about earlier. So there's some special tools that you use, vacuum being one of them. That to me would be the obvious thing, and then the other thing may be water. Do you ever use water?
No, you don't use water. The
because
vacuum.
You keep the dust down or something?
No. The vacuum is what you don't want to do that. It makes a mess. The vacuum was it makes it worse.
You're gonna make mud, huh?
Yeah, you're gonna make mud. You don't want to make
like
mud. No.
Creosote mud, right?
The vacuum is the key from the standpoint, and not the vacuum itself, but the filter. And with the August West one, I used to have a big. As a matter of fact, the filter used to use in that thing was the Mack truck filter. You go to AutoZone or something like that, and you get this big, huge Mack truck filter, and then you sort of coat it with diatomaceous earth, and that would help because your dust particles from the soot and everything is real fine.
Is that the next word of the day?
You don't know diatomation. You don't have a swimming pool. Huh?
No, I don't.
Yeah, it's a filtering thing for swimming pools.
Diatomaceous.
Diatomaceous earth.
What does that mean?
Don't ask me. That.
Okay.
I just know
have you heard of that before?
I've never heard of that.
We just used it. My wife used it some about helping to kill fleas and stuff in the yard for the dog. You can sprinkle it in your yard.
Diatomaceous.
Yeah, it's but it's used
How do
in
you spell
swimming
it?
pool filters. Find it, but
well, I was hoping Alonso maybe could look it up.
The other day you got brushes. You got brushes. You got.
We mentioned the poles.
The poles, and you got the vacuum.
The vacuum.
Ropes.
You can use ropes. So one of the other we were talking about the poor farmer ways is you tie PETA won't like this, but you take a rope or a string and tie it to a leg of a chicken and drop the chicken down in there, and chicken's going, your chimney. As far, technically, the experts would say, oh no, you got to do this, right,
chicken.
that right. But technically, if you drop that burlap sack down there, once a year or twice a year or whatever, and brought it up, you're probably not going to have a chimney fire. That's the bottom line.
What about harnesses? Are you guys using any harnesses when you're up on that roof?
I didn't. There were times that was another reason. Towards the end, I had a friend of mine because I took over that mailbox business. So I had a friend of mine that I'd pay him. He'd go out and do the chimneys. He loved it. He was younger and more flexible than I was. It was hard to get crawling into those chimneys and reaching up in there. But there were some times where I had a 2 or 3 story, especially if you had one where the house is the roof is fairly steep, but the chimney isn't up here where the roof is, it's over here. So the chimney sticks up 8 feet over the edge of the roof. So I can't stand on the roof to do my thing, right? I got to either run the ladder all the way up against it or get another smaller ladder on the roof. And so there's times I had to sit on the roof before I tried to get down, and I'd start to get a little nervous on the height.
So the harness was for you.
It would be for you.
You tie yourself down.
I never used one.
Wow, that's interesting.
I would imagine a bigger company, some of the bigger chimney sweeps where they might have to worry, for OSHA rules or whatever. I don't know what the rules are that apply for that now.
Did you ever see any action with commercial? You have these larger kitchens. You have these charcoal burning pizza places.
That's really sort of a different business. I think there are some chimney outfits that will do both. But because of the grease and everything, that's really sort of a different animal. And I looked at getting into that because it was more lucrative from what I understand, because you had a lot more fire issues because of the grease and everything. But it was something you had to... a
little more specialized.
A little more specialized, stuff like that. The housing, cleaning a brick chimney is easy. Picked up a lot of repairs, cracked crown. There's a little cement thing around the edge of the top of the fireplace, and that would get cracked. So that means water could leak down in. So I'd make some pretty good money taking some cement and patching that up. Chimney caps, after I get you get in a business, whether it's real estate or whatever, you suddenly start noticing things about that business. And all of a sudden, once I started doing that, I was like, wow, look how many fireplaces or people don't have chimney caps on their
Which,
chimney.
which are those little screens that
It's
go
like a
on
cage,
top?
yeah. Some people, you should get a proper chimney cap like this one that's being showed there. That's a good one. Helps keep the animals out, and it keeps the sparks in. By law, you're supposed to have a spark arrestor on your fireplace. But again, you got that draft rule, the 10%, everything. If I take a flat screen, a lot of people do this. I don't want to spend $50, $80, $100 for a chimney cap. I'll just go to the Home Depot or hardware store or whatever and get a piece of screen and put it in there. I had one client that had put a screen door wire over his fireplace, 2 or 3 layers of it, because that would be a spark arrestor, and he was using his fireplace.
But that would burn, wouldn't it?
What is the purpose of the chimney cap, Mike?
Number one, it's a spark arrestor. The screen around it is a spark arrestor because you don't want the sparks going on your neighbor's wood shake roof, okay? And then the cap on it to keep rain, trying to keep the rain out. You don't want the moisture because moisture will deteriorate your bricks quicker over a period of time, weather, and also to keep animals out and hopefully bugs, but the smaller bugs can still get in there.
Now, you talked a little bit about, we kind of joked around about Fiddler on the Roof, but it was no joke back in England where they were hiring, you mentioned they were hiring young kids to do this. Yeah. And there were some incidences apparently where they were going into the flues and getting stuck in there.
Yes.
And you mentioned a few deaths.
I read a book when I decided to take over this business. I started learning about it, and I picked up this book at the library on chimney sweeping. And most people look at the textile business as far as the start of child labor laws, but chimney sweeping actually was about the same time, maybe even earlier, because what happened, and this is mainly in England, where you had these big, not just castles, but big homes where the chimney was like your heater, like your duct heaters now. So they're burning coal, which would be even the lining of the residue from that could even be a bigger chimney fire or whatever. So obviously a big old guy like me can't get in that chimney very well, so they would hire little kids, almost like slavery. They would take little kids and make them, for very small money, and they'd go naked into the chimney flues and scrape the walls. Well, now they're getting instances of black lung, their backs are getting messed up and everything like this. And by the time you're 12 years old, you're out of business, you're retired.
What was the purpose of them going in naked?
Well, one of the things, you don't want to get your clothes dirty if they had maybe clothes. But no, the other what would happen?
It was some kind of like they did a grease down on them so they can slip right through.
Well, that's actually part of it, because what happened is they would get. Apparently, it was fairly common that the kid would get stuck in the flue, and so what the chimney sweep would do is light a small fire in the fireplace to make the kid start sweating and tie a rope to his leg and pull him out.
Wow.
I read there was one incident mentioned in there where they couldn't get the kid out. He was stuck so much bad they couldn't get him out. The chimney sweep finally left the job and called a mason. No, he called. They didn't have this is back in the 1500s or something like 1600s. He called a brick mason to go get the body out of the chimney.
Wow.
And it was pretty bad stuff. It was unbelievable to read that. It was a very interesting history, but tragic to say the least. But they passed a lot of child labor laws because of the chimney sweeping industry.
So we talked yesterday a little about we talked about the equipment. We talked about cleaning it. What about insurance? What
insurance? No.
Well, you talk. Yeah, exactly. What kind of insurance do you, as a chimney sweep, do you need to carry insurance?
You should. Yeah. Back in the 80s and 90s, when I was there, I got to look back now. I couldn't afford it. It was ironic. They would want $2,000 or $3,000 a year minimum to start off to cover me. And the thing is, I'm not gonna sue a homeowner because if I fall off his roof, and I did actually slide off a roof one time. But
we're coming up on a break, Coach Mike. Excuse me. We'll continue the conversation on the next break.
Don't touch that mouse.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back with more Real Estate Rant.
TheTicketSurgeon.com. Reach us at 855-WIN-4199.
Did you get caught speeding, texting while driving, or doing anything else you weren't supposed to do?
Give us a call. Don't miss work. Don't lose out on the money. Don't get any more points. What about your insurance? Let us fight for you. TheTicketSurgeon.com at 855-WIN-4199.
Looking for a delicious, fresh family meal that's ready when you are and easy on your budget? Welcome to Piara Pizza. We make our pizzas with handmade dough, 100% real cheese, and tomato sauce blended with our own spices. Nothing is ever frozen. We always have large pepperoni and cheese pizzas fresh and waiting for you for only $5. Or choose one of our specialty pizzas. We have veggie, meat lovers, supreme, and Hawaiian. Add an order of our amazing hot wings, cheesy bread, or breadsticks. Our locations are ultra modern, ultra clean, and open 7 days a week. Visit any one of our locations today, or check us out on the web at www.piarapizza.com. Piara Pizza. Fresh, hot, and ready for you when you come in. Stop in for your Piara Pizza today.
The Share Foundation is the health division of the Koi Chiropractic Institute, a 501c3 509A2 public nonprofit organization dedicated to the growth and development of the natural health care services, in particular through the chiropractic profession, offering health services at the Share clinics in the greater Los Angeles area. Your donations can help in expanding these facilities across the nation, research programs, and public education, thus offering a solution to the many of the health challenges we face. Your donations are tax-deductible and can be sent through our website at www.sharefoundation.com. That's www.cherfoundation.com by clicking on the donation button. Thank you.
Number one. Number one.
Is that a stutter or as high as you can count?
I was ordering number one tequila.
Everybody's asking for number one.
Great, another fancy bottle.
These guys are true artists. Never compromise integrity. They make tequila
Come
in the
on.
fashion, never mass produced.
So what are you saying?
I'm saying have the number one. Anything less is number two. Number one, tequila.
Building a custom home or business is a huge deal. For some, it's the largest project they'll take on in a lifetime. Choosing your team may be the most important part of ensuring a successful building project. Starting a project by working closely with Core Design will create what's just right for your lifestyle and your property. But selecting the right builder is perhaps the most important part of creating the team. At Core Design's customer service, quality craftsmanship, and integrity are the keys to our company philosophy. Your custom construction dreams are just a phone call away. Core Design at 213-453-1609. Once again, that number is 213-453-1609.
Live from the Rant Radio Network.
You're listening to Real Estate Rant with your host, Alex Alanis.
And your co-host, Mr. Alonso Rodriguez.
No problems, just solutions for real estate needs, hot topics, and controversial chat. Welcome back to Real Estate Rant here at the towers of the Rant Radio Network. And in studio today, Mr. Mike Davis, chimney sweep. Interesting topic today.
Used to be.
Well, it used to be. I mean, you know, you still have your stories, and you can tell us all about it, and that's what we're interested in. We're wanting to...
We want to learn, and it's actually very informative. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that I didn't know about chimneys, you know?
Yeah, well, exactly. Yeah, even talking
You could do another show. There's quite a bit. You mentioned the Woody earthquake during the break.
And you started in '86, right?
Yeah.
And how did it go? I was gonna ask, how did it go after?
I picked up. You suddenly got people. Doing my chimney. The Northridge was a lot worse, and I was sort of getting out of it when that one happened. But a lot of that one knocked up in the valley, knocked down a lot of chimneys.
Exactly.
And there were a lot of people getting ripped off because this friend of mine. No, I'm serious. This friend of mine said he was. This friend of mine said he was actually got somebody mad because he would go out there. And they would say, oh, we'll charge you, $1,000 or whatever to take your chimney down. And they literally would just take the chimney down and set it in their driveway. So there you go. Now it's up to you to get rid of it.
All that pile of brick was left there, huh?
And he was charging less than these other guys were, or he had to charge more, but he would get away. But he was losing business because these guys were undercutting because they had, they would hire just anybody they could pick up off the street and stuff.
And isn't that funny, Mike, that nature has its own way of saying we don't need chimneys here in Southern California?
I'm sorry they passed that law because I love a good chimney.
Yeah, a good fire with a glass of wine, romantic evening, why not? That's what they're for.
You guys watch too much movies.
No, I like a chimney, but no, there's things you got to watch out for. I lost my train of thought. But no, I'd have things. I had a case where I learned about, you talk about real estate, about the inspectors, how little they would do. Because after the Whittier quake, I had a guy that just bought a house, asked me to come out and inspect the chimney. He wanted to use it. And I get up there, and the modern chimneys, not the prefab, the aluminum ones, or stainless steel, whatever, but they have a clay brick flue tile. It's like one piece about 3 feet long, 3 feet long. And they're easier to work with, but they are heavy. But I got up on his roof and looked down, and his chimney tiles had been bounced loose and were offset. So if he had lit a fire in there, not only probably wouldn't have drawn correctly, but those fumes could have been going into the roof or in the attic type of his house, which could have been very dangerous.
Now, and then you add the component of the creosote, and potentially now the fire could get out of control.
Can go. That's the main damage of the chimney fire. Chimney fire, basically, you got to think. You got this vacuum cleaner. You got this natural draw. So when a chimney fire starts, people, I know a few of my clients that had chimney fires. They say, I walked in the room. One of them didn't know what it was. One did. He said, I knew what it was as soon as I heard it. He walked in the room, and your fireplace will sound like a vacuum cleaner. It's like a tornado going on, and it's just sucking so much air, and it's feeding itself. That's why it gets up to the significant 2,000 degrees and more. Wow. It can actually melt the mortar between the tiles or between the bricks. And so now if you get a gap in there, and not every chimney is set where it goes into your attic area, crawl spaces, but if that leaks there, now those hot fumes can go right in there and your house is on fire.
Now the reason I brought up insurance, Coach Davis, earlier was kind of to lead into something that we talked about yesterday, and that was there's companies out there that kind of are not –
maybe not so honest.
Maybe a little frivolous about what they do. And I just kind of wanted to point that out to the listeners as to what goes on now in that business.
Remember, I did this 20 years ago, a little over 20 years ago, so I'm sure the technology now is, I would say, 10 times better. But the big thing that was happening in the late 80s, early 90s, there was a company called ChimScan, and they developed a camera. I thought it was a brilliant idea. They developed this camera.
Now, are they not in operation anymore?
I don't know.
Well,
like I said, I've lost.
I would rather not use their name.
Oh no, they're the good guys.
Oh, they're the good
guys.
They're the good guys.
Well,
they're the good
we don't have to worry about that. They come with the self-cleaning chimneys like the stoves, don't they?
Yeah.
Is there such a thing? I never knew that. No, they're technology, right?
These guys are the good guys. They developed they developed the equipment.
All right.
And basically,
I just don't want to badmouth.
No, I wouldn't do that. They developed a camera that you would put attached to the end of your chimney poles, and you could run it down the chimney and see if there were cracks in the liners if you needed. Because the big job, a chimney sweeping is going to cost you somewhere between $50 to $200.
That was going to be one of my questions. Yeah.
So you got to do a lot of those to make the big. I mean, the overhead's low, right? It's just labor. But the big job is if I come out and your flue tiles are cracked, or if you have an unlined chimney. A lot of old houses, Southern California, there's no lining at all. It's just a row of bricks up. Okay, so you want to have a flue lining, right? So a relining job would be $2,000 or more for the most part.
Oh, wow.
Some maybe as low as $1,500, but I think most of them were $2,000 and up. That's the job you want to get, right? So apparently there were some chimney sweeps out there that would take this camera, they would buy this thing, and back then, because of the resolution, the cameras weren't like they are now. But the naked eye, you as a consumer would not know the difference between a crack in the flue, if you've got this black lined chimney that's dirty, or if I took like a trowel or some metal device and drew a line in that creosote, in that dirt, it would look like a crack. So I could take the camera down there, and I'm telling you, you're looking at the little monitor, and I'm telling you, hey, that's a crack in your chimney. You need this $2,000 job.
And what consists of that? Well, what do you have to do for a lining, Michael?
Basically, lining your there's different ways to do it, and I helped on one or two. I didn't do it myself, but you would basically block off the bottom and they had a special cement that would block off the bottom. You'd run an aluminum chimney pipe up inside the clay flue tile, and then a cap on the top. And so
you're pouring cement or something?
Yeah, you're not filling the whole thing up with cement, because in certain cases, I guess they would. Most of it was top and bottom type of thing. It wasn't a matter of filling the whole thing. I think some chimneys would not take it if you did the whole thing.
So it's like a little layer of cement that you're putting on the bricks.
Right.
Okay.
So on the bottom, and so they were known as ChimScam. and they perverted this company's name. It was a shame because it was great technology, it was great something well needed, especially if you had a 2 or 3 story chimney.
But it wasn't the company that you
It wasn't
said.
the company.
Okay,
It was
I
the
want to make
it
it clear that we're not bad-mouthing them.
It was the individual chimney sweeps, certain ones that would
individual guys. So,
right.
So what do you need to look out for then? What do you look out for with these guys when they come out?
Look for a company that's been in business that prefer has insurance. Like I said, I could never afford it. But the ironic thing is, what was the customer worried about? They're worried about me getting sued on the carpet. It would cost me less to replace that carpet than it would to buy the insurance. Okay,
I see.
I'm not going to. So I fell off one roof, slipped off a roof one time. I'm not going to sue you as a homeowner because I'm dumb enough to fall off your roof. That was my fault, So it was sort of an ironic thing. I did lose a couple commercial jobs because I couldn't prove insurance, and which they wanted. I could have made some good money on I had one that a bunch of pigeons had gotten top of an elevator shaft, and they said, "Who will clean?" Nobody would clean it out. They couldn't find anybody to do it. They said, "Call a chimney sweep." I said, "Sure, I'll do it." Well, you got proof? No, I didn't. Couldn't get it. So I'm going to pay thousands of dollars for a $200 job. No.
So it's some pigeon burritos.
Yeah, pigeon burrito, whatever. Yeah, but no, that you will look at reputation. Get a referral if you can, because most chimney. There's a lot of good chimney sweeps. The main thing you're doing is clean that thing out, getting the creosote out of there. But yeah, you want to have your chimney inspected now and then for the other thing. You're not going to need it like in the cold area north, like Lambeau in Green Bay or in Chicago or something like that. But it's still a good idea to have it checked out, especially if you like to put a log on there and burn it. Have it checked out.
So we know how much it costs. We know, what kind of scams to look out for. These guys are potentially putting little lines in, making you think that there's a crack.
I don't know if they could do that anymore.
How long does it take to clean a chimney?
Anywhere from 20 minutes to an hour. I'll tell you a funny story I had this one kid from my church used to work for me, and he was good. He was a great worker. But he didn't mess around. I talked too much. I'd make friends with the customer. They'd give me a cup of coffee or whatever.
No, Mike doesn't talk too much.
This kid would go out there, and I actually had a customer call me one day, and she says, you told me it would be about an hour that you'd be here, and he was in and out of here 20 minutes, boom, boom, boom. She says, I'm wondering if he really did the job right or whatever. So I said, I'll come out and check it. And he did a beautiful job. And I told you, he didn't mess around. He got in there, boom, 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 out.
Took care of business.
He took care of business.
Right
Was out.
on.
So yeah, it can be most chimney sweeps, because where am I going to make my money is upselling you on repairs, or selling you a chimney cap or whatever. So I'm going to smooth you up a little bit. Most chimney sweeps are going to take anywhere from 35, 45 minutes to an hour to do the job.
But those are necessary upsells, though.
Yes, yeah. Well, yes and no.
I mean, I don't see that necessarily as being scandalous or
no, those are. I wouldn't. They can be. Again, it's everybody. What do you consider ethical?
Well, you're talking about don't spray your neighbors with ash.
There's
put an $80.
Well, no, yeah, that's a big.
What's it called? A cap?
Well, that's a big one, chimney cap. But no, for example, like they talked about the crown on top. Okay, if that crown cracks, and water can leak down in your fire, it could get into your house. It might come out on the front of your fireplace, even depending where the leaks come out.
I see.
Okay, so how much does it cost to fix that? I would take about $5 max. A bag of cement would cost me less than $5.
Back in the 80s, it was like
$2.75. $2.75 or something.
Well,
I'd mix that up. I had an additive that in to make it a little bit more waterproof so it wouldn't crack again. I might put some foil or some wire on there to help strengthen it. So I had about, let's be fair, $10 maximum worth of materials. I would normally get $100 for that. I would have customers tell get not only get referrals, call a couple of chimneys, get a comparison, because I've heard of chimney sweeps that would charge $200 and $300 for the same job.
We got about 60 seconds left,
yes.
Coach Davis. Just real quick, how often should a homeowner get their chimney swept?
If you like to use your fireplace in California, do it every year.
Well,
once a year.
Thanks for joining us, Coach Mike. Let's put a plug out for what you do now. You do kids in sports.
I do kids in sports
every Tuesday.
Every Tuesday, Alex is my co-host. We have a lot of fun with that. We help parents get through youth sports. I am a high school softball coach, and that's sort of my passion. I love motivating and helping the kids to reach their goals.
Do you have a website?
www.kidsinsports.com, and that's spelled KIDZ, and is a NancySports.com.
And you can reach Mike at 562 area code 416-5102. This is Real Estate Rant. You can email us at realestaterantradio@gmail.com, or you can give us a call at 855-693-4897, and that's anytime. Nobody won the design deal today, so it looks like we're having lunch.
We're going to have lunch, huh?
We're going to have Steven's Steakhouse today, and then right after, maybe potentially a teeth whitening.
Oh, jeez. Luckily, I got to go coach, so thanks for having me on, guys. It was fun.
All right. I don't know. Mr. Manny Pantalones is hit. Oh, we got a phone call. Are we going to stay on? All right.
We got a phone call.
Yeah, we got a phone call. Thank you for calling Real Estate Rant. How can we help you?
Hi. Hey, my name is Paul Vieira. How you doing, Alex?
Hey, Mr. Paul. How are you, sir?
Alonzo, how you doing?
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, you know what? I dialed in about 10:15. Great show. I just wanted to dial in really quick before you guys go off air. Basically, about 2 years ago, we bought our house in Whittier, and last time we used our fireplace was last winter, and all of a sudden, within like 20, 30 minutes, the room was all smoky. The fire alarm started going off, and I wasn't sure whether or not if the lever was open, and I couldn't tell if what was going on. So I think I need to get my chimney swept. Or can you also tell me, like, if you have it open, does that mean the smoke comes down? Or
no, if you have it open, that you want the damper open, and generally, if you have it's a brick fireplace.
Yes.
Okay. Generally, you have a metal handle hanging there in the fireplace. If you pull that towards you, that's generally opening your flue. If you push it towards the back wall, that generally closes. Think of it, the door going the opposite way of the handle. So you want to pull that towards you.
And that causes the smoke to go up.
That allows the smoke to go up.
And that was going to be one of my questions, because I'm worried about carbon monoxide getting in here. Everybody, dying from the intoxication of the smoke.
Yeah,
that was one of my actual questions that I thought was dumb questions.
Hey, Paul, have you had your chimney cleaned in your new place?
No. I want to get it clean. I want to have it ready before it starts getting cold.
Well, this is the reason why we had this topic on the show. We try to ensure the public trust, and I think homeowners should know about this, because I'll be honest with you, I've never heard of creosote. I've really never heard of a chimney fire. I'm sure if I was an insurance agent, I probably would have heard about it at some point. But this is good information. I mean, thank you for calling, Paul. And did you have another question for Coach Mike?
No, thanks, Mike. So you service the Whittier area?
No, I've been out of that business for about 20 years, and sold my brushes and everything. If I had my brush, I'd come out there and take care of you. But if you do a little search on the internet, or there's some pretty good chimney sweep companies around. I know there's actually one in Whittier. She came to our Monday morning meeting.
Yeah, she came to the Breakfast Club.
So I think there's one actually in Whittier.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, great. Awesome.
Yeah, if you need that information, Paul, I can get that for you now. You actually, by calling in, Paul, you get a $25 gift card.
You're gonna take away our lunch. Oh my goodness.
No, I'll still get lunch. You get a $25 gift card to Steven's Steakhouse, or a $200 professional teeth whitening. Which would you like?
I'll take Steven's Steakhouse.
Oh, Steven's Steakhouse. Well, I know Paul. He's an eater. I love to eat with the gym. We love to eat. Me and Paul and I have gone to various places there in Uptown Whittier, and we've enjoyed a lot of different kinds of foods up there. Paul and I go back sometime, and I will communicate with you, Paul, and I'll get you that gift card. Okay?
Just make sure you get it,
Very
Alex.
good,
I got
guys.
some
Thanks,
upset
Mike.
callers.
It was a
Look at
great
this
show.
You're welcome.
All right.
All right. Thanks
All right,
again,
you guys
Paul.
have a good one.
All right.
All right, take care.
Bye. So we actually went over time a bit with the caller, but how much more time do we have here, Mr. Pantalones? About 10 seconds. You can email us at realestaterantradio@gmail.com. We won't get to the question during the show, but we will try and answer it on the following subsequent shows. Next week, we have Dr. Coy with the Share Foundation. We will be covering an event that he's having on September 28th, so join us then.
Thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks for tuning in to Real Estate Rant Radio.
Make sure to join us every Wednesday at 10 a.m.
on the Rant Radio Network, where we talk about solutions to your real estate problems. The views and opinions expressed by the host or any guest on this show are encouraged to be followed up by a professional tax advisor or attorney, as we are not qualified or authorized to give advice in two areas: legal matters and tax matters.